Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. Get ready because today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing mysteries in American history. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy, November 22nd, 1963, a day everyone remembers. It's a day that changed everything. We're talking about a young, popular president riding in an open car in Dallas, Texas, and suddenly he's shot. Just like that. It's like something out of a spy movie, and it's got more twists and turns than a winding road. Today, we're going to break down the main theories about JFK's assassination. We'll talk about the official story, the lone gunman, the Grassy Knoll, the mafia, the CIA, and even rumors about the Soviets and Cubans. We're going to unpack it all. Okay, so let's start with the official story, the one from the Warren Commission. They said that Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine and a self-proclaimed communist, acted alone in killing President Kennedy. They say he fired 3 shots from the Texas School Book Depository, where he worked, hitting JFK twice. Now, Oswald was a strange guy. He had moved to the Soviet Union for a while, came back to the US with a Russian wife, and was kind of a loner. He was a bit of a mystery, right? But even with his odd background, many people found it hard to believe he could pull off something this big by himself. The Warren Commission's report is huge, thousands of pages of interviews and evidence. They looked into everything. Oswald's past, what he did that day, the rifle found at the scene, everything. They even had this whole thing about the magic bullet, one bullet that supposedly went through Kennedy and Governor Connolly, who was riding with him. But here's the thing. A lot of people, even now, don't believe it. They point to problems with the evidence, strange things with the Zapruder film, that home movie of the assassination. They say the angles don't make sense, that there had to be another shooter. And then there's the fact that Oswald never went to trial. He was shot and killed by Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, just 2 days after the assassination. That really made people suspicious, right? We still debate Ruby's motives today, but it all seems very fishy. The Warren Commission report was supposed to end the speculation, but it really just created more questions. People started digging deeper, looking for other explanations. And that's where things get really interesting. Alright, so now we're getting into the conspiracy theories, and the most famous one is the Grassy Knoll. This one's been around for decades, fueled by that Zapruder film I mentioned. If you watch it closely, some people say you can see Kennedy's head snap back violently, like he was hit from the front, not the back where Oswald supposedly was. This, they say, means there was a second shooter hiding on the Grassy Knoll overlooking Dealey Plaza, where the assassination happened. People said they heard a second shot coming from that area, and some even described seeing smoke or a gun flash. Now, these eyewitness stories are often different, but it was a chaotic scene. People were scared, running for their lives. It's understandable that their memories might be a little blurry. But the idea of a shooter on the Grassy Knoll is really intriguing. It suggests a bigger conspiracy, right? It wasn't just one crazy person. It was a planned attack with many people involved. Some people believe the shooter on the Grassy Knoll was a professional killer, maybe even connected to the mafia or some secret government group. Others think it could have been someone within the government itself, a secret operation to remove Kennedy from power. The Grassy Knoll theory is a rabbit hole. The more you look into it, the more questions you have. There's all this talk about mysterious people on the Grassy Knoll that day, like the Umbrella Man, who was standing there with an open umbrella on a sunny day. Why? Nobody knows. Chapter 3. Let's talk about the mob. The mafia was angry with the Kennedys, especially JFK's brother Robert, who was Attorney General. RFK was fighting organized crime, stopping their illegal activities, and putting many powerful mobsters in jail. The theory is that the mafia, feeling the pressure, decided to kill JFK as revenge. They had the resources, the motive, and the chance. Plus, they were known for being ruthless and silencing anyone who got in their way. Some believe that mob bosses like Carlos Marcello and Santo Trafficante, who were targeted by RFK, were behind the hit. They supposedly used their connections in Dallas to plan the assassination, hiring hitmen to kill the president. There's even a theory that Lee Harvey Oswald himself was connected to the mob. Some believe he was a patsy, set up to take the blame for the assassination. They point to his connections to New Orleans, a known mob city, and his association with people like Carlos Marcello's friend, David Ferry. Now, the mafia theory has some weaknesses too. Some argue that the mob wouldn't have been foolish enough to order a hit on a president. They knew it would cause the entire government to come after them. But, then again, the mafia was known for their arrogance and their belief that they were above the law. And they had gotten away with a lot. So, who knows? Maybe they thought they could get away with this too. Chapter 4. Now this is where things get really interesting. The CIA, the agency supposed to protect the country, has been named in many conspiracy theories about JFK's death. And let's be real, the CIA has a bit of a shady past, right? They've been involved in some questionable things over the years, overthrowing governments, assassinations, mind control experiments, all sorts of things. Some people believe that some people within the CIA, unhappy with Kennedy's decisions, decided to take things into their own hands. They thought he was too soft on communism, especially after the Bay of Pigs invasion, and they felt he was a danger to the country. There's also the theory that the CIA was involved in a cover-up, that they knew about the assassination plan but didn't stop it. They might have even helped plan it, using their resources and skills to get rid of Kennedy. One of the most interesting pieces of evidence in the CIA theory is that several key people linked to the assassination, including Lee Harvey Oswald, had ties to the agency. Oswald supposedly talked with CIA agents before the assassination, and some believe he may have even worked for the CIA. Another key figure in the CIA theory is George H.W. Bush, who led the CIA at the time. Now, there's no direct proof linking Bush to the assassination, but he was in Dallas that day, and what he was doing during the shooting isn't totally clear. The CIA theory is a tangled mess. It's hard to know what's true and what's not. But one thing's for sure, the CIA's possible involvement in the JFK assassination is a question that still bothers us today. Chapter 5. Okay, let's go even deeper. We've talked about the mafia, the CIA, but what about other countries? Could the Soviets or the Cubans have been involved in JFK's assassination? The Cold War was at its height in the early 1960s, and things between the US and the Soviet Union were very tense. The Cuban Missile Crisis, just a year before Kennedy's death, almost caused a nuclear war. Some people believe that the Soviets, worried about Kennedy's tough stance on communism, decided to kill him. They might have seen him as a danger to their own safety and a problem for their global goals. Others blame Fidel Castro and the Cuban government. They argue that Castro, still angry about the Bay of Pigs invasion and the constant threat of US interference, ordered a revenge attack against Kennedy. Now, there's no solid proof to support either of these theories. The Warren Commission found no evidence of Soviet or Cuban involvement in the assassination, but some people believe that the evidence was either destroyed or hidden from the public. And let's be honest, both the Soviets and the Cubans had reasons to want Kennedy dead. He was a problem for them, a symbol of American power that they wanted gone. The idea of foreign involvement in JFK's assassination is a scary thought. It suggests that the Cold War was even more dangerous than we thought, and that even the president wasn't safe. So there you have it. We've explored some of the biggest theories about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. From the lone gunman theory to the Grassy Knoll, from the mafia to the CIA, and even the possibility of foreign involvement, we've covered a lot. The truth is, we may never know exactly what happened that day in Dallas. The evidence is confusing, the witnesses aren't always reliable, and the official story has some problems. But that's what makes this such a fascinating mystery. It's a puzzle that we keep trying to solve, even though we might never find all the answers. What do you think happened? Was it a lone gunman, a conspiracy, or something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most interesting mysteries.